AMD Ryzen 7000 series is due out this month. What is going to be changing on the new platform? The new platform is going to be Zen 4, 5 nanometers, AM5 socket, PCI Express 5.0, and DDR5. There's going to be extreme changes to how the platform is interacting with the motherboard. There'll be new motherboards that support all of these new features. The new socket also is an AM5 socket. The AM5 socket is an LGA socket. That's land grid array socket. So there are no pins on the actual processor. It's all pins on the motherboard that push up into the processor. Intel has been leading that new socket for a little while now, but AMD is finally following that same suit. Systems that are coming out, this basically means that there's going to be extreme changes to how the platform is interacting with the motherboard. There'll be new motherboards that support all of these new features. This is going to bring a new era of faster PCI Express bus as well as faster RAM. What will this do for you? It's basically faster access to your hard drives, faster access to the RAM, allowing for lower latency memory. This also leads to a new AM5 new socket. That means new motherboards, new way of installing the processor, new cooling solutions, which were also not talked about at the event, but I assume there's going to be new cooling solutions because the processor top of the IHS is a little different. More performance numbers of an increase of 62% in some creating performance. What do they mean by creating performance? They did a V-Ray test, which is basically a render test. It is not real world performance. It's basically just a test that they use for a benchmark. AMD is also claiming that the processor will achieve this performance at a 47% better performance per watt of energy. Again, this is not confirmed. This is obviously from AMD. So we have seen this before where they kind of bloat the numbers whenever they do live events. Now, it's not just AMD. Intel has done this before too, but they have claimed now that AMD and Intel, they're showing a direct comparison between that and the newer processors. We are going to basically see a very big competition leap here between AMD and Intel. The AM5 socket is going to be new, but according to AMD, they will be keeping the AM5 socket for at least until 2025. Which will give basically a really good upgrading platform stretch before having to change your motherboard. Most people are probably not going to take advantage of this until probably 1 to 2 years after the processor has been out for. Most people are going to stay away from this until all the bugs have been worked out. This is a brand new processor, so we expect to see some issues and conflicts with it. Now, with Ryzen being such a success on the previous platform, it still took about a good few months before people started picking up on the fact that the processors were just the same or better than Intel. So this may also do the same thing. We may also see this where until tests are fully shown and released and actually in the real world, this may not be something that will affect most businesses until it has become mainstream. The models that are coming out are going to be AMD Ryzen 9 7950X, 16 core, 32 threads, 5.7 gigahertz boost clock. Regular clock is 4.5 gigahertz with an 80 megabyte cache and a 170 watt TDP. The price for that one processor is $699. That's the highest level. The next one down is going to be a Ryzen 9 7900X, 12 core, 24 threads, 5.6 gigahertz boost clock, 4.7 regular clock, 76 megabytes cache, still also with a 170 watt TDP, and that price is going to be $549. The next one after that is Ryzen 7 7700X. That is an 8-core, 16-thread processor with 5.4 gigahertz boost clock, 4.5 gigahertz regular clock, 40 megabytes cache with 105 watt TDP at $399. And the last model is a Ryzen 5 7600 6-core 12-thread processor with a 5.3 gigahertz boost clock, 4.7 gigahertz regular clock, 38 megabytes cache with 105 watt TDP, costing $299. The prices are very competitive for the amount of cores that you're getting. Especially, this is a really good price range. It's a good setup. It will definitely cause some competition in this area. It's definitely going to light a fire under Intel and get them moving on the aspect of saying, okay, we need to answer this with a much better product. I'm going to say that these are really decent prices for the processors that you're getting. I'm going to assume that all of these are going to require discrete graphics. I don't think any of these have built-in graphics. All of these processors are going to be available in stores on September 27th for the initial launch of the product. I'm going to be shocked to see how that goes. Hopefully on September 27th, they're not going to be out of stock, but just coming into stock. Hopefully we won't have any type of price gouging or any other weird stuff going on. And I say price gouging, I don't mean price gouging. Hopefully we don't see anybody doing any type of scalping on these prices or scalping the products themselves. We would love to get a test product on September 27th. We'll see if we could try to get their lowest core and their secondary core, so the Ryzen 5 7600X and or 7700X. Now, if this is going to follow the same type of thing with the previous Ryzen launches, we're going to see that most of these processors are not going to be overclockable by much, but that's okay. The amount of performance that they're already promising for the processor that you're already getting for the price that you're already paying, most of the time you won't need to do that. This is also going to be releasing with that is DDR5, which will now be acceptable on AMD. Intel already has some motherboards that support DDR5. The ones that I've tested have not been such a great experience, but I'm hoping that AMD, we're going to see a much better experience and something that's going to be a little more stable. We're also introducing PCI Express 5.0, which I think that 5.0 is going to be another game changer when it comes to your graphic card as well as your hard drives. Accessing, that bus is going to be a lot quicker and faster. The biggest problem with this is going to be the motherboard change, because everybody that's currently on AMD Ryzen can't go into Ryzen 7000 series without going to a new motherboard. So with that, I mean, Intel does this a lot more often than AMD does with the changes of the actual processor itself and motherboards. But I'm hoping that this will also, hopefully they keep their promise in saying that it's going to hold out to 2025 for at least no changes to the motherboard, and that will allow for at least incremental upgrades till then without having an absorbent amount of cost of having to change a motherboard or changing RAM and stuff like that. Future, we will be testing it when it comes out, hopefully around that time, but I'm going to probably estimate it probably in the middle of October we'll actually really get around to testing everything and getting everything moving that direction. We don't want our customers to be guinea pigs on this, so we will definitely check it out before we actually create an actual system that's going to go into production. We'll do full run tests, and we'll also, we'll post a video once we get to that point. So I leave you at this. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Let me know about AMD. Do you think this is something you want to look at? Or is this something you're just like, well, no, just give me whatever is stable today. So like, subscribe for more content, as well as, check us out on our live streams. We do our live streams every Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. So we have different topics, so check back then. If you are subscribed, you will get a notification of that. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.